Well, cool. Well, we'll get started and kind of just slowly kick this thing off for those of you that are still connecting to your audio and joining us. I am really excited. This will be, I think, our 12th women's assembly, which is incredible. So it's so fun to see this come to fruition after, coming up on a year of putting this thing into play and having some incredible women and some men join us and talk about leadership and these principles. And I'm really excited that, we've been searching and kind of bringing in some guests here and there, and we've had some incredible stories shared with us. And today's guest is, quite frankly, just has a really incredible passion about her that just brightens your day when you talk with her. And how this came about is kind of interesting because we started talking as a team for, let's think about who we want to come and have and participate and share their story and talk about these leadership principles of extreme ownership that we believe so strongly in, and who can help us sort of communicate that, but give some light and perspective in different aspects of business, home life, how these principles apply in really every capacity. And so we started talking as a team, and right out the gate, when I was mentioning this to Dave Burke, he said, LaTonya, you got to get LaTonya. And so we have a client, Smithfield, that we've been working with for the past couple of years. And we've had the pleasure of working with them in a number of capacities. But one pilot program we ran with this company was the Train the Trainer program. And so we took a group of people through a program to become trainers and help to teach the principles of extreme ownership within their organization so they could continue the effort and sustainment of the work that we were doing with their client. And LaTonya was a part of that initial pilot program. And so she went through this program. And I think, very quickly, even just in a short video call, I got a really good sense of what it was that Dave was so excited about when he mentioned her and suggested her as an option for today's guest. She has a really clear passion for teaching and facilitating and instructing, not only on these principles, but just in general. You can tell that she really, truly loves helping people realize their leadership, capabilities. And what's really fun is that she recently was promoted to the Senior Talent Development Training Specialist at Smithfield. So it's really cool to see people that went through some initial programs not only implement these principles within their own lives to have an impact within her own career, but now that she gets to have the benefit of impacting so many others within her organization and surely within her community and her family as a mother of 3 young daughters as well. So I'm really excited to have LaTonya join us. Like I said, I hopped on a call just to get a quick sense of what she wanted to talk about today. And I left that call feeling energized and excited and ready for the week. And I'm sure that that's going to come across for all of you guys today too. So think it through. Any questions you might have from LaTonya, we're going to talk about this idea of default aggressive. What I love about this principle that she decided to sort of hone in on is that oftentimes this is a challenging one, particularly for women that we work with or people that may feel like this idea of being default aggressive doesn't apply to me as a leader. And they don't really understand how it necessarily relates to them and their leadership in their leadership roles. So I think LaTonya is going to give us some really good ideas on how to apply this principle of default aggressive in a number of different ways. And then when we conclude with her message, we'll open it up to a Q&A. So for those of you that might be joining us for the first time, there is a chat function at the bottom. You can type in your questions. Just start the question with a question in caps so that we can find it easily throughout the chat. And then we'll have kind of an open forum discussion around this principle or other leadership challenges that you guys are facing. So with that, I'll pass it off to you, LaTonya. Thanks for joining us today, and the time is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Echelon Front, for just having this opportunity to share with our people. Thank you to each and every person who is on this call right now. Can I tell you how much I appreciate just your being in this moment with me right now? And so today, if I had to give a topic to what it is that we're discussing, I would entitle it, "If you want it, go get it." And specifically, I would like to talk about women being default aggressive in both our personal and our professional lives. And as we kind of explore this whole topic of default aggressive, I really want to highlight 3 main areas. Those areas being focusing on solutions, seizing opportunities, and also being relentless, right? And so if you're familiar at all with the principle of extreme ownership, What you know is that when we talk about being default aggressive, we are never, ever talking about being aggressive towards people. But what we are talking about being aggressive towards are obstacles, challenges, and opportunities. And we as women, we already know these concepts. We apply them daily. We just don't apply them for our benefit. Let me give you some examples. For our children, we know about being default aggressive. Let the school call and say that little Johnny is going to fail science class. Can I tell you how we will make things happen? We will move heaven and earth, okay? We are writing teachers. We are meeting with principals. We are going up through the school board. We are putting it on the local news, like whatever it takes to make sure that little Johnny does not fail science. We are willing to do that. When it comes to other loved ones, we make sure that they have what they need as well. We will create GoFundMe accounts. We will print banners, write messages to senators. When it comes to our job, we know about that. We go in sick. We avail ourselves on vacation days. Listen, we go in early and we stay late. We do what it takes to make it happen. And so we give of ourselves in so many ways, so much so that sometimes there is not anything left for us. And so when I talk about the importance of being default aggressive, I really want to encourage women. I want us to put us on our own to-do list, on our own make it happen list. As a bit of a foundation, let's talk about historically why women have not chosen to be default aggressive. There are some reasons why we don't typically choose it. One of the things that comes to mind is that being aggressive is not really seen as being ladylike. You see, us women, we're supposed to be, submissive, subdued, quaint, quiet, cute. We're not supposed to talk very loud. We're supposed to be like soft-spoken like I'm talking now. And we're supposed to be mostly agreeable. Yeah. Also, historically speaking, we are characterized as the yielders. That is, everyone else first, us second. Even if there's nothing left for us, we are made to feel selfish and really like we aren't accomplishing anything if we don't make sure that everybody else has what they need. How dare you chase your dreams? Why would you even think about trying to pursue your purpose unless everybody else has exactly what they need first? Them first, and then maybe you'll get your time. We're also seen as the nurturers. Again, our main job is to develop and to invest in other people. And it's the guilt. Y'all, it's the shame. And it's the constant reminder that we should not be on our own list. It's that type of thinking and the remnants thereof that echo in our minds and either consciously or subconsciously cause us to decide to kind of hide our gifts. Yeah, not pursue our dreams and kind of put our purpose on the back burner. And that's why we're talking today. See, it's okay to be soft-spoken and to be quaint and cute and quiet. It's also okay to speak up if you feel like that is necessary. It's also a beautiful thing to take care of people. Personally, I think it's honorable and beautiful, and I get so much joy in serving other people. And so what we're really talking about is this whole notion of balance that is necessary. And so I want to get into the three areas that I'd like to highlight today. The first one being seizing opportunities. Now, In order to seize an opportunity, you first have to recognize it as such. And how do you do that? I'm so glad that you asked. I have 5 questions that I would like for you to ask yourself. And these 5 questions will help determine if what you're pursuing is it an opportunity for you. All right. Question number 1. Does it align with your core values? Question number 2. Does it get you closer to the goals and the vision that you have for yourself? Question number 3. Does it spark energy or is it draining? That is a key indicator. Question number 4, will it get you out of your comfort zone? And then question number 5, after having that experience, will you become a better version of yourself? And if you answer yes to all of these questions, I can honestly say that this is an opportunity for you, and I would encourage you to go get it. You know, sometimes we already know what we want. We've answered yes to all of the questions, right? We've already thought about it. We've researched it. We've studied. We've dreamt about it. We've allowed ourselves to kind of talk us in and out of the opportunity at the same time. Can I tell you that hesitation? Yeah. Hesitation allows for moments to pass, and sometimes opportunities are lost. And that's why we can't wait for it to drop in our lap. If you want it, go get it. The bottom line is when it comes to opportunities, they are either discovered or they're created. Either way, we have to be willing to seize, and to seize means to grab and hold on to eagerly and decisively. We have to be willing to do that. We have the ability. We just have to have the desire. So that's seizing opportunities. The second part of default aggressive that I'd like to highlight is that of focusing on solutions. Now, inevitably, as you are seizing and capturing all of these opportunities, there are going to be challenges that arise. And when they do, you already have to have a belief system in place to make sure that you don't give up. And the reason why it has to already be in place is because when challenges arise and when we start looking at obstacles, what we do is we reach back to what we already know. It's muscle memory. It's what's already in my toolbox. And that is what I use to kind of proceed. And so if you have something already inside of you to combat those obstacles, you're likely to not give up. So let me share a couple of my personal beliefs. I have a lot of them, but the 2 that are sort of my most go-to belief systems are these. The first one is that I truly believe that life happens for me and not to me. Yeah, that is that when things don't go the way that I had anticipated or wrong, I know that there is a lesson within that. And I believe that that lesson will help propel me to some higher heights. I am intentional about looking for what is it that I need to learn in this. So that keeps me from wallowing in self-pity and in doubt. It's like, LaTonya, what is it? Right? That's number 1. A second belief system that I have in place is that I literally can have anything that I want and that I'm willing to work for. There are no exceptions to that. But I have to be willing to put in the work. And so then when things don't go the way that I had anticipated, it forces me to reevaluate and say, LaTonya, but did you put in your all? Did you do all that you could do? And only you can answer that question for you, because nobody knows really if you put in your best work. Nobody knows that better than you. And so if you want to get what you want, you have to be all in. You know, focusing on the problem only creates more problems. And that's why we have to zoom into the solution. Yeah, what relationships can I leverage? What information am I overlooking? What are my resources? Listen, this is not the time to waste time with self-doubt and pity and shame and second guessing ourselves, and things never work out for me. And I tried something that one time. It can't be the one time. This is consistently going after what you want. This is consistently putting in the work that it takes. This is also not the time to allow ego to get in the way. We have to check our ego. Why? Because ego will stop you from asking for help. Ego will make you think that you already know it all and there's nothing else to learn. Ego will keep you in a place of failure with no room for redemption, because who can help you when you already have it all figured out? It is in this moment that you have to remind yourself of your goals and why you wanted it in the first place. Yeah. My grandmother used to say, you know, there's more than one way to do something. And so when your first strategy does not work, it's okay to regroup. It's okay to get quiet and come up with something else. Make it simple, so simple, so simple. And when you do that, you're able to execute the next thing. In my house, we always talk about doing the next right thing for the next right reason, right? And so it's in focusing on solutions that we're able to get to that place. All right, so we've talked about seizing opportunities, and we've talked about focusing on solutions. I now want to talk about being relentless. Sometimes that means creating opportunities where there are none. And that can be a very scary place, because it's a lonely journey when you are the one who is spearheading it. You don't have mama and granddaddy and all of those people who laid the pathway for you. And so you're forced in that moment to figure it out. But it's okay. Be relentless. That also means not backing down, absolutely refusing to turn back, even when things look hard, even when things disguise themselves as work and they don't work out the way that you had anticipated. Still, we don't give up. It also means knowing that you have the drive, you have the audacity, you have the tenacity to do what it takes to get things done and to make them happen, in spite of the bumps, the bruises, the challenges. In spite of all of that, you can still make it happen. And why would you do that? Why would you continue when it's so painful of a process? The answer is because you're worth it. You are worth every single tear, every single drop of sweat. You are worth the entire process. Now, speaking of being worth the process, speaking of bumps and bruises and challenges and overcoming them all, can I share with you a story? I want to share with you a story about 14-year-old LaTonya. Yeah, 14-year-old LaTonya, who was a mother. Okay, so I know I saw Jamie, the gasps and the people. It's okay. Let's come back. It's okay. We're getting there, right? So at 14 years old, I was a mother, and I wanted so badly, y'all, to be a good mama. I wanted it so badly. Listen, I studied books. I took parenting classes. I learned about nursing. I learned about baby massages. I learned about instilling self-esteem in little teeny children. Like all of these things I wanted so badly to have for my child. In addition to that, though, I also wanted to go to school. And I wanted to maintain my grades. I had a straight A average, and so I wanted to maintain those A's. I also knew that I wanted to go to college, and so I wanted to participate in a lot of different extracurricular activities that would make me have sort of a well-rounded portfolio, so that when they saw me, they would say, yeah, she's the one for us. As you probably can imagine, my journey was not an easy one. I was alienated from friends and family. So many people that I had known since kindergarten, and we had gone to school together our entire academic career, came up to me and said, my mama said that I can't hang around you anymore, because you are not a good influence. And my mama said that that you're failing, and she doesn't want me to end up like you. And so I got a lot of conversations like that. I actually remember calling my math teacher up and telling her that I was pregnant. And I will never, ever forget her response. She immediately burst into tears. And she said, LaTonya, I can't believe that you have thrown your entire life away. She said, LaTonya, didn't you say that you wanted to go to college? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, there is not a school in this country that is going to accept you with that baby. She said, I'm crying because I have to tell you the sad truth. And that truth is that you're not gonna make it. And y'all, I remember just holding the phone in complete and utter disbelief. You see, this was a woman that I had admired for years, and I considered her to be a role model. And here she was telling me that I was a disappointment to her, and that overall I was just a lost cause. And it hurt. Yeah. It just, there's not a better word to describe it. I was just hurt. But something interesting happened when I hung up that phone. When I hung up the phone, I remember feeling my baby move, and another feeling came over me. And that feeling was that her truth for me was not my truth for me. And so I began to believe that I knew I could. I knew I could make it. I knew that if I worked for it, I knew that if I studied, that if I put forth the effort, I knew that I could make it. I didn't really know all of the details, but I also knew that my daughter could make it. And so somehow I just started to believe that we both could experience love and success. And that whatever I still wanted to do, I could. I knew that it would be hard, but if I went after it, I could get it. And well, long story short, in between the diapers and the wipes, there was president of the National Honor Society. There was founder and president of the Junior Statesmen of America. There was Bell president of the Future Business Leaders of America. And I still studied. In between potty training and kindergarten, there were presentations and papers and pulling all-nighters. But I wanted it. And so I became the very first person in my family to graduate from college. William and Mary, government major, sociology minor, class of 2003. And as if that is not big enough, that daughter that I had when I was 14, she became the second person in my family to graduate from college. UNC Chapel Hill, class of 2017, Bachelor of Science in Information Science. Oh my goodness, okay. I said I wouldn't cry, but can I just tell y'all, like, as I start to walk down memory lane, I am compelled to remember how sheer will and determination. There was nobody, I didn't have a whole lot of cheerleaders. And so it was sheer will, it was determination. I had some support team, and so those prayers are what got me to where I am today. And I'm not finished. My career looks bright. The trajectory of my future looks absolutely amazing. That daughter that I had when I was 14, she graces the cover of several housing magazines as someone that you should really know in the industry. Since then, I have two other amazing daughters who are equally as brilliant in their own right. I have a husband who absolutely loves me for who I am and not just what I do. And so all I want to say is that if you want it, you can go get it. It is that type of hope. It is that type of heart. It is that type of passion that it takes. Listen, I am not more special than anybody else on this call. I just wanted it. And I continue to want it. And because I continue to want it, y'all, I continue to push past the fear and to go get it. And each person up here, you have what it takes to go get it as well. And so that's the message. How bad do you want it? And whatever it is, just know that you have it within yourself. We apply default aggressive to other people. Can we put ourselves on the list? Aren't we worthy too? and striking that balance, making sure that, listen, it's okay to sit back and observe, but it's also okay to speak up. It's also okay to, listen, go after those dreams and those hopes that you feel like need to be kind of put to the side at the expense of other people. Put yourself on your to-do list. So, Jamie, Megan, thank you so much for letting me share.
Damn. I warned you guys. I told you when we started this, her energy, her passion is infectious. I could tell, and I can see through the chat that continued to ring true. LaTonya, you truly have a passion. You have a gift to tell a story and to incite passion amongst the people that you're talking to. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your energy with us today. I didn't even expect to feel that way going through that. The rise of emotions during your story, it was incredible. And what was so fun for me is that I get to hear about these principles all the time from my colleagues. And the way that I hear them is in a very kind of specific way. We talk about the laws of combat. We talk about the mindset for victory, how you use these things to become a better leader. And you hit on everything we talk about, but with this really unique and incredible lens that I've never even heard before. And this idea of like, if you want to go get it, and how you go get it is you use these principles that we've talked about. You build a relationship, you simplify the mission, you communicate effectively, you're default aggressive, you solve problems, you make things happen. And the way that you explain that and put it all together was just so unique and such a cool perspective to what we teach. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your incredible story, your passion, your excitement for these principles. Your story was truly, truly impactful, I think, for many of the women that were on here today, particularly for me. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us. I don't have much else to say. I want to spend this time with the women and answering their questions and talking about the things that they want to talk to. So I'm going to stop talking and let Meg take over and open it up with some questions. And certainly for those women that are on here, if you have something you want to share or something you want to ask LaTonya, we've got some time left in our hour to do so. So please post your questions in the chat or come off mute and ask a question of LaTonya. We're here to answer your questions and talk more about this. Meg.
Yeah, LaTonya, I certainly echo Jamie's sentiments. I mean, that was amazing, inspiring, beautiful, just so many emotions, but incredible story. And so happy to have you on here. We don't have a ton of questions right now within the chat, but one of the things that you talked about, is being relentless and kind of pursuing and continuing to go after it, even if there are barriers and challenges along the way. And I wonder, what was your kind of mindset? If you set these goals out for yourself, but, they weren't going to happen until 3 or 4 years down the road, when those challenges came up and they lasted for, a day, a month, a week, whatever it was, like, how did you continue to push through that? What was it about your mindset that really sort of kept you moving forward?
Yeah, thank you, Megan, for that question. This is a game of chess, not checkers, right? And so you got to be in it for the long haul. And that's something that I learned as a mother pretty quickly. It's like, this is not, tomorrow she is not going to be 18, right? And so really understanding my why. Why am I doing this? Keeping a really close eye on my goals. Sometimes, Megan, when we set goals, we get separated from them, right? Because in the midst of the tragedy, in the midst of the trauma, in the midst of all of these things that are going on, these obstacles, they cloud our vision and we can't see what it is that we set out to do in the first place. It is really, really important for us to keep those goals really close to us. And I'm telling you, it is the mindset of life happens for me. This is all for me. I don't know how it's for me, but I believe that it is. And if we have those type of belief systems in place already, it changes the bucket that we drop experiences in, right? And so instead of me dropping it in the bucket of, oh my gosh, this is a complete failure, it gets dropped in a different bucket of, what can I learn from this, right? It gets dropped in the bucket of, I might not need it for me, but my daughter needs it. I need to go get that for her. And so it's always bigger than just us, for sure.